The Titanic was one of the largest and most enormous ships in the world when it was built. It was a complete city sailing on the ocean waters, but it did not last long because its first voyage was its last. It began on April 12, 1912, and ended 4 days later. It was a tragedy in every sense of the word, occurring from the evening of the 14th to the morning of the 15th of April 1912. During the sinking of the Titanic, 1,514 people died out of a total of 2,223 on board, making this tragedy one of the largest drownings in history. Among the passengers on board were some of the wealthiest people in the world, in addition to hundreds of Irish, British, and Scandinavian immigrants who traveled in search of a better life in the United States of America. The ship was designed to be of the highest possible luxury and comfort. It contained a gymnasium, a swimming pool, a library, a luxurious restaurant, along with a large number of cabins for first-class passengers. As for passengers in other classes, they did not have these luxuries. The ship was also equipped with the latest technology and advanced safety features, despite the lack of full adherence to regulations in that era. There were only 1,178 lifeboats, which was less than half the number of passengers on this maiden voyage, and 1/3 of the ship's total capacity. When the voyage began, it was headed to England, then arrived in France, then to Ireland. From there, the journey to the United States of America began. However, this quickly ended because the ship collided with an iceberg. This collision caused the ship to crack, and it began to sink for 2.5 hours, with the ship gradually sinking. Initially, the front part of the ship sank. Then, the rear part rose. During this time, hundreds of passengers and some of the crew were transferred to rescue boats, none of which were filled to their maximum capacity. In this incident, a large number of men died due to the rescue rule that women and children must be saved first. Before 2:20 a.m. on April 15, 1912, the ship had split in half and sunk while hundreds of people were still on board. As for those who were able to stay on the surface of the sea, they died from hypothermia. A few of them were rescued using lifeboats. Several hours later, another ship appeared and rescued 709 people. The sinking of the Titanic aroused and angered feelings all over the world due to the large number of those who died and due to the mistakes committed during this incident. The investigations conducted in the United Kingdom and the United States of America led to the necessity of implementing a number of important improvements in maritime safety. Many of those who survived after losing everything they owned in this tragedy were helped thanks to donations collected for them. Others, such as the ship's owner, were accused of cowardice after leaving the ship early and were condemned for life as murderers because he forced the ship's captain to increase speed in order to arrive ahead of schedule, which later led to the ship colliding with the iceberg. As to the remains of the Titanic, they were missing for a long time, but they were found on September 1, 1985, in the depths of the North Atlantic Ocean at a depth of 3,784 meters. Thanks to this discovery, thousands of items were retrieved from the deep sea and displayed in a number of museums around the world. The Titanic may be the most famous ship in history, and we can always remember it thanks to a number of books, songs, films, and shows inspired by that tragedy. Although we know a lot about the Titanic, there are many secrets that only a few know. Let's start by learning what many don't know about the Titanic, so pay close attention. Number 5. The woman who survived 3 times. The company that built the Titanic caused 2 other accidents. This was the case with the Olympic and Britannic ships. An Argentine woman survived all 3 voyages, Viola Yasu, who worked as a waitress on all 3 ships. In 1911, The Olympic ship had an accident, but fortunately, no one died. In 1912, the Titanic sunk, but this woman survived, in addition to others, on that cold and frightening night. In 1915, she was on board the Britannic, which exploded due to a thermal mine causing severe damage to the ship. Consequently, the ship sank. But she also survived. Despite all this, for 35 years, this woman continued to work on ships until 1950, when she retired at the age of 63. She then died at the age of 84. Number 4. The Japanese man who was humiliated. Masabu Hosono was the only Japanese on board the Titanic. He was working for his country's government. When the ship sank, he boarded one of the lifeboats, which was reserved for women and children only. When his story was discovered, he was stigmatized, lost his job, and was severely criticized in his country. He continued to be greatly humiliated until the movie Titanic was released. This man had died, but despite that, his family took this opportunity to send a public apology for his actions. Number 3. The Mexican on board the Titanic. Among the passengers on board the ship was one Mexican, Deputy Manuel Ochorto, who had gone to Paris for a visit. At the moment of the sinking, this Mexican politician left his place for a passenger who explained to him that her husband and son were waiting for her in New York. All Manuel asked for in return was to visit his wife in Veracruz and explain what had happened to her. Indeed, he died in the drowning incident, and that woman continued to visit Manuel's wife until 1924, for 12 years. At this time, that woman confessed that she had no husband or son at all. Number 2. What was the reality of the VIP lounge on board the Titanic? The Titanic was one of the few ships that had a swimming pool 10 meters long and 4 meters wide. Yes, on board the Titanic there was a large swimming pool, and the first class on board the ship had a gymnasium, a squash court, a Turkish bath, a cafe on the ship's deck, a restaurant, and areas dedicated solely to smoking, reading, and relaxing. This was in addition to other areas decorated with stunning furniture. Number 1. Someone predicted the sinking of the Titanic. 14 years before the Titanic tragedy, Morgan Robertson wrote a novel titled The Wreck of the Titan, a fictional novel about the sinking of the largest ship in the world after colliding with an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean on a cold April night. The ship in the novel was named Titan and closely resembled the Titanic, even in its design. Even what happened to it was almost the same, so many people wonder if it was just a coincidence, a prophecy, or an intentional accident. Then we come to the important question: why can't the Titanic be recovered from the water? Some wonder why the Titanic cannot be recovered from the depths of the ocean and then placed in a museum, which could generate a lot of profit. But the remains of the Titanic cannot be recovered from the sea. Because these remains are in a deteriorated condition, if an attempt were made to recover it, it would completely collapse. In addition, experts have stated that by 2030, the Titanic will have disappeared. What is amazing is that when they found the ship in 1985, it was in relatively good condition. Given that in the depths, with low light and extreme pressure, the place where the ship rests was an ideal place for many organisms to live, which slows its erosion process. But all this changed many years ago, when some bacteria began to corrode the ship's metal. The strange thing is that these bacteria had not been discovered before. Yes, they are unknown bacteria eating the Titanic, turning it into mere waste, and little by little it will completely decompose. This is why recovering the Titanic is impossible. Now that you know all this, my friend, what do you think? Share what you liked about the segment in the comments. That's all for today. Don't forget to press the like button. With one condition, as usual, if you like this video, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell to receive all our new content. We'll see you in a new video, and thank you for watching. Peace.